Hungary's journey from Soviet domination to EU and NATO membership was once hailed as a model of post-communist transition. In the early 1990s, the country embraced Western institutions, opening its economy and society to new opportunities and freedoms. For many, Hungary symbolized hope. A nation that had overcome decades of authoritarian rule to join the democratic family of Europe. Its capital, Budapest, became a vibrant hub, reflecting the optimism of a country eager to move forward. Yet, under Prime Minister Viktor Orbán, Hungary has increasingly defied Western consensus, pursuing a pragmatic, national interest-driven foreign policy. Orbán's government has prioritized sovereignty and self-determination, often clashing with Brussels over issues like migration, media freedom, and the rule of law. This assertive stance has set Hungary apart from its European neighbors, fueling debates about the country's true loyalties and long-term direction. This culminated in Hungary's dramatic decision to join the BRICS bloc in late 2025, a move that challenges the very idea of a unified Western alliance. By stepping into a group that includes major powers like China, Russia, and India, Hungary is signaling its willingness to look beyond traditional Western partnerships. The decision sent shockwaves through European capitals, raising urgent questions about the future of transatlantic unity. By aligning with a group positioned as a counterweight to the US-led order, Hungary has forced the West to ask, is it a bridge between East and West, or a breach in Western unity? The country now stands at a crossroads, its choices scrutinized by allies and rivals alike. Hungary's new alliances could reshape its role on the continent, and perhaps even redefine what it means to be European in a rapidly changing world. Yeah, this is not a sudden shift, but the result of years of policy recalibration driven by a belief that survival in a multipolar world requires flexibility. Hungary's leaders have carefully navigated between East and West, seeking to maximize the country's influence and security. The move to join BRICS is the latest and boldest step in this ongoing strategy. Hungary is betting that its future lies in balancing between competing global powers, not in singular allegiance. By cultivating relationships with both Western and non-Western partners, Hungary hopes to secure economic growth, political leverage, and a unique voice on the world stage. For the EU and NATO, Hungary's pivot signals a new, more fragmented chapter in European history. As the continent grapples with shifting alliances and rising uncertainty, Hungary's choices may well determine whether it serves as a vital bridge or a dangerous breach in the fabric of Europe. BRICS, once a loose and informal grouping of emerging economies, has undergone a remarkable transformation over the past decade. What began as a forum for dialogue has now become a formidable geopolitical bloc, shaping the global conversation on economics and power. Its recent expansion, welcoming Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, the UAE, and Indonesia, has significantly amplified its global influence and reach, making BRICS more representative of the world's diversity. Today, BRICS accounts for a substantial share of the world's population, GDP, and oil production. The bloc is actively pushing for alternatives to the US-dominated financial system, seeking to rebalance global economic power. The appeal of BRICS lies in its vision of a multipolar world, where no single power dominates, and where emerging economies have a real voice in shaping the future. Its founding principles of non-interference and respect for national sovereignty resonate with many countries seeking alternatives to Western-led institutions. For many nations, BRICS offers a platform free from Western conditions, lectures, and the pressure to conform to external political models. Hungary's decision to join BRICS reflects its recognition of this shifting global landscape and its desire to diversify its alliances beyond the traditional West. By securing a seat at the BRICS table, Hungary is hedging its bets, seeking new opportunities, influence, and leverage in a rapidly changing world order. In a world where power is diffusing and alliances are shifting, Hungary is positioning itself to benefit from both East and West, keeping its options open. It's a pragmatic calculation. In a world of giants, a small country can gain security and opportunity by having a foot in both camps, ensuring its voice is heard on the global stage. Hungary's entry into BRICS marks a pivotal moment in its foreign policy, formalizing what it calls the Eastern Opening Strategy. This move is not just symbolic, it's the culmination of years of calculated diplomacy and economic outreach. For over a decade, Hungary has sought to diversify its alliances and economic partnerships, looking beyond the European Union to secure its future in a rapidly changing world. Prime Minister Viktor Orban's government recognized early on that the global economic center was shifting eastward, toward Asia's rising powers. In response, Hungary has actively pursued deeper ties with both Russia and China, seeking to balance its traditional Western relationships with new Eastern opportunities. Major Chinese investments, such as the Budapest-Belgrade Railway, have become flagship projects, symbolizing Hungary's commitment to this new direction. Meanwhile, energy deals with Russia have provided Hungary with both economic leverage and a measure of energy security, further anchoring its strategic pivot. However, this eastward shift has not been without controversy. Critics within the European Union argue that Hungary is undermining shared European values and risking its own democratic institutions. They warn that closer ties with authoritarian regimes could expose Hungary to undue influence and erode the foundations of liberal democracy. Yet, Budapest presents itself as a keystone state, uniquely positioned to connect East and West, acting as a bridge rather than a barrier. Hungarian officials argue that by fostering dialogue and cooperation with both sides, they are not weakening Europe, but strengthening it, making the continent more resilient and adaptable. Hungary's accession to BRICS is seen as the ultimate expression of this vision, positioning itself as a unique bridge for global trade, investment, and diplomacy. While skepticism and concern continue to echo across European capitals, the Orban government remains steadfast. For Orban and his allies, this is the culmination of a long-term strategy, one designed to ensure Hungary's relevance, sovereignty, and security in a world where old certainties are fading. As the global order becomes increasingly multipolar and the dominance of the West is no longer assured, Hungary is determined to chart its own independent course, confident that its strategic pivot will secure its place on the world stage. Hungary's foreign policy is shaped by its deep dependence on Russian energy. As of 2025, Hungary receives most of its oil and up to 95% of its natural gas from Russia, with the POX nuclear plant further cementing this reliance. The planned POX-2 expansion, managed by Russia's Rosatom, locks Hungary into a long-term partnership. This dependency explains Hungary's resistance to EU sanctions targeting Russian energy, and its frequent use of veto power to secure exemptions. Critics see this as a dangerous vulnerability, giving Moscow leverage over Budapest. Hungary frames the relationship as pragmatic, but energy security remains non-negotiable. This entanglement shapes Hungary's stance on Ukraine and its broader foreign policy. Understanding this context is key to grasping Hungary's eastern pivot and BRICS membership. Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Hungary has consistently diverged from its EU and NATO partners. Orban's government calls for immediate ceasefire and negotiations, arguing that arming Ukraine prolongs the conflict. Hungary has blocked weapons transit, delayed EU aid, and watered down sanctions, earning a reputation as the EU's most reluctant member on confronting Moscow. The government frames its stance as pro-peace and prioritizes Hungarian security, insisting that diplomatic channels with Russia must remain open. Domestic concerns, especially the welfare of ethnic Hungarians in Ukraine, further drive this position. This unique mix of pro-peace rhetoric, energy dependence, and ethnic concerns keeps Hungary at odds with the Western alliance. Hungary's BRICS membership has triggered anxiety and frustration in Brussels and across Europe. The move challenges EU unity, both symbolically and practically, raising fears about divided loyalties and compromised security. As an EU and NATO member, Hungary's access to sensitive information is now a source of concern. Germany has even labeled Hungary a security threat, a remarkable statement about an ally. Orban is often described as a Trojan horse for Russian interests, deepening the rift within the EU. The Union's disciplinary tools, funds withholding, Article 7, have failed to change Budapest's course. Expulsion is nearly impossible, leaving the EU with a disruptive member it cannot control. Hungary's BRICS membership institutionalizes this divergence, forcing the EU to confront internal threats to its unity. Hungary's foreign policy is rooted in its history as a crossroads of empires and its enduring sense of vulnerability. The trauma of the Treaty of Trianon and the loss of territory still shapes national identity and politics. Orban's Fidesz party frames the eastern opening and BRICS pivot as a reassertion of sovereignty, not subservience. This narrative resonates with voters who see energy security and protection of ethnic Hungarians abroad as vital. The government's control of the media amplifies this message, sidelining opposition voices. Disputes with Ukraine over minority rights further justify Hungary's cautious stance on the war. This blend of historical grievance, domestic politics and ethnic concerns drives Hungary's defiant foreign policy. Hungary's BRICS entry marks a turning point in European power dynamics, challenging the assumption of EU and NATO unity. If Hungary benefits from its dual alignment, others may follow, risking the emergence of rival factions within the EU. With a BRICS member at the table, consensus on Russia and China will be harder to achieve, weakening Western leverage. The fabric of Western solidarity is now threatened by internal dissent, not just external adversaries. Europe faces a future of uncertainty and fragmentation, with Hungary betting that nimble states will thrive. For the EU, the challenge is existential: manage internal divergence or risk paralysis. Whether Hungary is a bridge or a breach, one thing is clear: the old map of European power is being redrawn.